Alright, today's lesson we're going to talk about playing scales using a legato technique. Joe Satriani made it famous. It's those real burning passages, and it's a technique where you don't have to pick every note, so it allows you really just to use your left hand speed. What I'm going to show you today is an exercise you can do to start developing that technique, and then we're going to go and do a jam, and I'll have a transcribed solo where you can see that technique actually put to use. So what we're going to do here is we're basically going to use 3 different fingerings. These are all 3-note per string fingerings, and they're all based on a pick and then a couple hammers that follow. And then after we do that exercise, you'll notice in the jam we do, there's not only just the hammer on, there's also going to be hammers and pull-offs. That'll be in the solo. For this exercise, we're just going to go through 3 different fingerings and then hammer up. So the first is this, what I would call 1 stretch 2 4, which is that. And then what we're going to do is groups of 3. So we get, and then we're going to go to the next string, next string, next string. We move it up like that. Now we're not going to have any pauses in there. And the goal ultimately is to get that up to 30-second note triplets, okay? So basically 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, like that, okay? As you're learning it, you probably want to start with just straight up triplets. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, etc. The fingerings we're going to use are the 1 stretch 2, 1 2 4. And 1 3 4. So 1 stretch 2 4, 1 2 4, 1 3 4. Those 3 fingerings will let you get through all your major scale modes. If you want to get into more exotic scales or a more difficult exercise, you could substitute these fingerings in later, which is a 1 2 stretch 4. So you get this that kind of sound, or a 1 stretch 3 4. That's going to be good if you want to get into melodic minor, harmonic minor scales that have that minor third in there. You can hear it sounds kind of weird if you want to do, you know, more of a out there sound, dime bag, kind of a metal kind of thing. Those fingerings might be good for you to work on. You notice I moved up the fretboard. Those are really hard to, you know, do a stretch with a 1 2 stretch 4 at the first fret. If you can do it, great. It's more comfortable probably starting up higher on the net. Okay, so we got a beat here, and it's fairly slow tempo. I think it's 70 something, but the point for that is to give us time to build up to those 30-second note triplets, which are the 9 per beat. So we're going to start the beat here. The first thing we're going to do is just triplets, so 3 notes per beat. See this 3 note string skipping, or 3 note string groupings? So on. Alright, then you would do a 1 2 4. Alright, then 1 3 4. Those are all 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? Those are straight 8th note triplets. Next thing we would do would be 16th note triplets. So we're going to get into 6 notes per beat. So you want to think about a triplet on the downbeat and a triplet on the upbeat. So you get 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, that's gonna. I changed the pattern for that. I just do 2 per string. So we go. And then the goal now is to go for that 30-second note triplets, which are 9 per beat. Okay, so it's going to sound like this. Right, and so on. Now you notice I'm using a pretty clean sound. That's just, I think it's better to practice like that, or practice on an acoustic. Make it a little hard on yourself. Then when you add the distortion, etc., those notes will really jump out. Okay, so let's go over this jam. This is just a one of the stock loops that comes on the jam, or the Spider Jam amp from Line 6. So those are great if you don't want to spend a lot of money and have a great practice tool. There's a lot of pre-recorded stuff on there. Anyway, this jam, it's in the key of B. It starts out with this. Alright, kind of a funky thing. Whenever I have here two major chords together like that, I always think of the lower one as Lydian, the higher one as Mixolydian. So I'm thinking this is a B Mixolydian, and I'm doing kind of a blues lead. So I'm doing a lot of these blues riffs, but adding in the major third of the Mixolydian. Here's your Mixolydian scale. So we get a lot of these kind of sounds, right? Sorry. Right, that kind of sound. So we're doing that, and then the whole point of the lesson with the legato stuff is it goes to this kind of B part in the jam, where it goes over a B major, then a D major, then a D major, then we go to G, A, and then back to B. Okay, the way I'm hearing that melodically is over the B, I'm doing a B Mixolydian kind of sound, so we get this. If you're going to do your legato, right? Then it goes to the D, and I just keep it over a B tonal center and transpose it down, so that becomes a B Dorian scale. Then E, back to the Mixolydian, E Mixolydian. Then G, I do a G Lydian, A Mixolydian, and then back to a B.